Theodore Robert Cowell, later known as Ted Bundy, 1946 to 1989, is one of the most infamous and studied serial killers in modern history. His case is a chilling study in contradictions. A handsome, articulate, and politically engaged law student who was also a ruthless, necrophilic murderer of at least 30 young women across the United States in the 1970s. Early life and formation, 1946 to 1973. Birth and familial mystery. Born November 24, 1946, at the Elizabeth Lund Home for Unwed Mothers in Burlington, Vermont. His mother, Eleanor Louise Cowell, was 22 and unmarried, a significant social stigma in the 1940s. To avoid scandals, Ted's grandparents, Samuel and Eleanor Cowell, raised him as their son, with his mother posing as his older sister. He grew up believing his mother was his sister and his grandparents were his parents. The identity of his father remains unknown, a source of lifelong insecurity for Bundy. He was later told the truth, which caused significant psychological trauma. Childhood and adolescence. Grew up in Philadelphia, then Tacoma, Washington, after his mother married Johnny Bundy in 1951. Ted took his stepfather's surname, though he reportedly never bonded with him. Described as shy, awkward, and prone to nightmares. He developed a fascination with control and macabre imagery. Family members recalled him surrounding his sleeping aunt with knives. He was a bright student but socially inept, with a deep-seated fear of rejection and an intense need for social status. College years and the broken engagement narrative. Attended the University of Puget Sound, then the University of Washington, graduating with a degree in psychology in 1972. He began dating a wealthy, sophisticated fellow student from California, Stephanie Brooks. She represented everything he aspired to: class, wealth, and social standing. Their relationship ended when she graduated, finding him aimless and lacking ambition. Bundy was utterly devastated, viewing this as a profound rejection by a social superior. This rejection is widely considered a critical trigger. He later re-engaged with her under a new, ambitious persona as a law student, only to cruelly reject her in revenge, a small-scale rehearsal for the control he would later exert through murder. Emergence of a public persona. He transformed himself, handsome, charming, studying law, and volunteering for the Seattle Crisis Clinic and the Washington State Republican Party. He worked on Governor Dan Evans's campaign and was even photographed with him. This cultivated persona, intelligent, trustworthy, authoritative, became the perfect lure for his victims and a shield against suspicion. The murders. The Pacific Northwest, Washington and Oregon, 1974. Modus operandi, the injured or helpless ruse. Bundy, often with his arm in a sling or on crutches, would approach women in public places, campuses, parks, beaches, asking for help carrying items, books, a sailbag, to his beige Volkswagen Beetle. He would then bludgeon them, often with a crowbar, and abduct them. Key crime clusters. University of Washington, our Seattle area, beginning with the severe assault on Joni Lentz, January 31st, 1974, followed by the abduction and murder of Linda Ann Healy, February 1, 1974, and at least 7 other young women over the next few months. Lake Sammamish State Park, July 14, 1974. A pivotal day. Using the name Ted, he approached numerous women, asking for help loading his sailboat. Janice Ott and Denise Naslund disappeared and were later found among skeletal remains on Taylor Mountain. This attack provided the first major composite sketch and linked multiple disappearances to Ted. Utah and Colorado, 1974 to 1975. After moving to Utah for law school, Bundy's approach became more brazen and violent. Utah. He continued abductions from public places. Carol Duranch, November 8, 1974. Narrowly escaped after he lured her into his car posing as a police officer and attempted to handcuff her. He was later linked to several murders in the state. Colorado. He shifted to nighttime home invasion attacks. Corinne Campbell, January 12, 1975. Abducted from the Wildwood Inn at Snowmass Ski Resort. Her murder marked a significant escalation. He was linked to other murders, including Julie Cunningham and Melissa Smith, with victims often being transported, sexually assaulted, and dumped in remote areas. Hallmark of this phase, Bundy developed and engaged in necrophilia. He would revisit corpse dump sites, or keep bodies temporarily, to perform sexual acts, indicating that possession and total control were central to his crimes. Florida, 1978, after two dramatic escapes from Colorado custody. Extreme escalation. After fleeing to Florida, Bundy's attacks reached a new peak of frenzied violence. The Chi Omega sorority house attack, Tallahassee, January 15, 1978. In under 15 minutes, between 3 and 3:15 a.m., Bundy entered the unlocked sorority house and launched a brutal blitz. Killed Margaret Bowman, bludgeoned and strangled with pantyhose, and Lisa Levy, bludgeoned, strangled, and sexually assaulted with a hairspray bottle. Bundy also bit her severely on the buttock, leaving critical forensic evidence. Severely injured, Kathy Kleiner and Karen Chandler, both with massive head injuries. Immediately after, he walked to a nearby apartment and savagely attacked Cheryl Thomas, causing permanent, debilitating injuries. Kidnapping and murder of Kimberly Leach, Lake City, February 9, 1978. Bundy abducted 12-year-old Kimberly Leach from her schoolyard. She was his youngest known victim. She was sexually assaulted, murdered, and her body was found in a remote pig shed weeks later. This crime led to his final capture. Capture and arrest. He was arrested days later, February 15, 1978, in Pensacola, Florida, for driving a stolen vehicle. He was soon identified for the Tallahassee murders and the Leach killing. Trial, confession, and execution. The trial, Bundy acted as his own co-counsel in the Chi Omega trial, a decision that backfired spectacularly. His narcissism was on full display as he clashed with the judge and gave rambling statements. The evidence was overwhelming. Bite mark impressions matching Bundy's teeth on Lisa Levy's buttock, hairs from his Volkswagen, and eyewitness testimony. July 24, 1979. Found guilty on all counts, including 2 counts of murder. Sentenced to death. January 7, 1980. Found guilty of the murder of Kimberly Leach and again sentenced to death.